5% is all that's needed, and the untold truth around Social Security and the massive failure of this program, putting millions upon millions of seniors in jeopardy. While some of the details are highlighted right here in this press release out of the Social Security Administration, which I will pop up on your screen in just a second so you can see and read for yourself exactly what they said in this press release, the finances of Social Security, why they are failing in a massive way, and the answer is 5%. That's it. Not a big deal whatsoever. 5% is so easily achievable, but yet at the same time, because they're not achieving 5%, they're literally putting millions and millions and millions of seniors at a tune of over 60 million people in massive jeopardy because of this little situation. Well, again, I'm going to pop this up so you can read it in just a second. This is a press release out of Social Security. I want you to see the details of this, and I'll explain what I mean by this 5%. And what they can do about this, it's not that hard to figure out. This is not rocket science by any means whatsoever. You don't need to be a mathematician to figure this out. It is so basic and easy, but yet they are literally jeopardizing millions of seniors over 5%. It's not that big of a deal. Anyway, I'd love to give a huge shout out to Scott Hoagland. He reached out because he contacted that team of trusted advisors to get some help with his Medicare plan. He was not satisfied with his Medicare plan. He called them, got a free review. They found him a better plan, and Scott got himself a better plan, saving a bunch of money and getting significantly better coverages. So Scott, thank you so much for reaching out. But if you are like Scott and the other 70 million seniors out there that are enrolled in Medicare, please do yourself a huge favor. Contact that team of advisors. It is completely 100% for free. They will work for you. They will listen when you speak. They will listen to your wish list, whatever it is that you are desiring and whatever it is that you need. They will look through 20,000 plus plans across the entire country, and they will find you the exact plan that you need for your personal situation, whether it's a supplement plan, a Medigap plan, Part D plan, Medicare Advantage, or if you happen to be 65 or retiring and enrolling in Medicare, I can tell you this much, that's by far your best resource. Please take advantage of it. It is totally free, and hopefully you can be like Scott, get yourself a better plan, better coverages, and save a ton of money, which, by the way, the average senior that is calling that team of advisors right there to get some help with their Medicare is saving $1,100. That's the average savings, by the way, which is absolutely incredible. All right, anyway, just like Scott did, after you talk to them, leave me a comment down below. Leave the word chapter within your comment. That's the keyword that I searched for, and then I'd love to give you a shout out in a future video, just like Scott Hoagland. Thanks again, Scott. Really appreciate that, and so glad that you were able to get some help and get yourself a better plan. Seriously, write it down, take a picture, take a screenshot, give them a call, totally free, and I'd love to hear from you after you talk to them. All right, let's pop this up right here, right now. Here is the press release out of Social Security. I want you to see one key piece of information within this. Now, this is the press release that they released back in June in regards to the Social Security Board of Trustees annual report, okay? Now, that's it. However, I want to point out one key detail. Down lower in the press release here, you're going to see one data point. This is the one I want to focus on, which is, actually, there's a couple data points I'm going to point out for you. The $2.72 trillion that's in the trust fund. When I say trust fund, just think of it like a savings account. Here's the other problem. $67 billion. They drew down the trust fund by $67 billion. In other words, they paid out $67 billion that they didn't have coming in through income, so they had to dip into the savings account, okay? Now here's the next key number, $69 billion. What is that? $69 billion is how much they collected in interest on the $2.72 trillion in the trust fund. You might be thinking, not a bad income, right? I'll take $69 billion of interest. I agree with you. I would too. That'd be a really good day, right? That'd be a really good year. That'd be a really, really fun time to collect $69 billion in interest. I don't know. That'd be super fun, right? Well, that's what they did. But here's the problem about that. That is only a 2.5% return on their money. That's pathetic. That's super pathetic. I'm sorry, but that is the worst return. Okay, not the worst return, but that is a really, 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 really bad return, especially during a time right now when they could be getting significantly higher returns than that. Okay, now here's the deal. Social Security needs to be invested in treasuries. Okay, so they get paid a pathetic 2.5% interest rate on $2.72 trillion. That is pathetic. I'm not sure what banks are paying right now in interest on a savings account, but I'm pretty sure it's more than 2.5%. It might be around like 3.25, something like that. My point is, 2.5% is awful. That's a really bad return. Now, here's the thing. Because Social Security is paying out $67 billion more, just this last year, they paid out $67 billion more to beneficiaries than what they brought in through income into the Social Security system, right? Now, here's the problem. Here's all they would have to do. This is so basic. All they would have to do is double their rate of return on their $2.72 trillion. My point being is that, you heard me say just a second ago, they collected $69 billion in interest, which was a 2.5% return. If they could double their return to 5%, that's it, a 5% return on $2.72 trillion, guess what that would yield? Well, that would yield $135 billion in interest versus the $69 billion. That would completely wipe out the $69 billion that they had to dip into the savings account for, the trust fund, in order to cover benefits for the beneficiaries. That's it. All they would need is a 5% return on the $2.72 trillion, and they would be at parity. They would not have to dip into the trust fund whatsoever. This would significantly prolong this program from insolvency if they could literally just get a 5% return on the money. That's not that hard to figure out. I mean, seriously, you don't need to be like some investing guru, some investing expert. Basically, anybody can get a 5% return on basically anything. It is super basic. It is not that hard to do, right? So anyway, this is why we've been seeing lately as well, some of the lawmakers coming out saying, this is nuts. Why are we investing all this money into treasuries and getting a pathetic 2.5% return when it could be invested in much better investment vehicles and getting a 5, a 7, an 8, a 10, a 12, a 20% return annualized versus a pathetic 2.5% that literally, I'm pretty sure, banks pay more than that on a basic savings account these days, right? Even a CD, remember those things? Certificate of deposit. I remember when I was younger, I used to get CDs, right? You go to the bank with like $100 and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna get myself a CD for 3 months or a year or whatever, and you get like, I don't know, like $5 in interest or something like that. Remember those days? But seriously, CDs, I don't know what those are paying these days, but those are probably right around 4%, I would guess, give or take a little bit depending on the bank and situation. But seriously, super basic products like this, a savings account, a CD, a money market account, I'd be willing to bet that those are paying significantly higher than 2.5, and Social Security can't even figure out how to get a better return than 2.5%, which, to be fair, legally they have to invest them in treasuries. But point being is that this is why we're seeing some lawmakers coming out now suggesting that this is nuts. We should be investing this money into stocks, bonds, the financial market, something like that, and yielding 10, 12, 15, 20%, or maybe 8% on a bad year, year over year, things like this, right? So anyway, I just wanted to point that out for you really quickly. That's how easy this would be, because we continue to hear about this insolvency issue. They paid out $67 billion. All they would have to do is literally double their rate of return from 2.5 to 5%, yielding $135 billion a year, and they'd be good. They would have been good. They basically would have had like no output out of the trust fund if they would have done that. That's it. They would have been fine, right? So anyway, that's all it comes down to. I just want to point that out for you really quickly to show you how basic and how easy this really would be to solve. But why are they not doing it? That's the big problem. Why are they not doing this? Why is this so hard for them? I don't get this. This is so hard for them to do anything, but yet they haven't figured this out. Not sure. I don't know. It just seems to me like they don't want to face the truth on this, and just nobody wants to be on the hook for this. Well, guess what? It's putting like 60 plus million seniors in jeopardy if they do nothing. Putting them in jeopardy to significantly reduce their benefit checks if they do nothing. That's not fair, in my opinion, right? Why would we jeopardize that many seniors? Why would we jeopardize people that are relying on this money? That's messed up, right? All right, anyway, if you do want some more certainty in your life right now, join Scott and the other 3,000 people here in the community and the 70 million people out there enrolled in Medicare. Give them a call right there. Seriously, just give them a call. Call them. They're going to ask you a few questions. They're going to shop all the plans that are available out there, find you the best plans so you can see the doctors you want, the providers you want to see, the networks you want to be within, the offices, the clinics you want to visit, the prescription needs if you have any at all. They're going to look through all that, find you your best coverages, your best plan, whether it's a supplement, Medigap plan, Part D plan, Medicare Advantage, whatever is best for you and your personal situation, and hopefully get you significantly better coverages and save a ton of money, just like so many people out there that are calling that phone number and saving $1,100 on average is the average savings, by the way, and that's incredible. All right, anyway, join Scott and the other 3,000 people here in the community that have called them. After you call them and you have a great conversation and whatever happens there, leave me a comment down below. Use the word chapter within your comment. That's how I search for these and find these comments, by the way. And then I'd love to give you a shout out and feature you in a future video, just like Scott here in this one. All right, anyway, until next time, please share this video, big share button right down below. Please feel free to subscribe, 100% free, big subscribe button down below. Feel free to like the video, thumbs up button right down below as well. Please share that phone number with your friends, family members, neighbors, acquaintances, siblings, co-workers, parents, neighbors down the street, neighbors down the hall, anybody that you know that is enrolled in Medicare. Please share that with them. Let's help some people out right now, get some better coverages, save a ton of money, and when they do, then you get all that credit as well. Otherwise, check out the nearly 6,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. The popular videos I've hand selected for you down below in the description or popping up now. Check those out. Until next time, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later in the next video.